Very good afternoon and welcome to the CRNFC grounds. It's a hot baking Longdon place here just before kickoff in this all-important game between St. Peter's and Wesley in the Singer Schools Rugby League 2019. This game between Wesley and St. Peter's is going to completely blow this group wide open depending on which way it goes. Abdullah Yusuf, former Royal captain, joining me in the commentary box. A must-win game for both teams today, Abdullah.
Yes, absolutely, Shanaka. Good evening, everyone. Yes, we're in for a really exciting game today where a lot is on the line for both these teams. More so for Wesley than St. Peter's. Wesley absolutely need to win this game to stand a chance to remain in that top four and qualify for the Super League phase. St. Peter's would like to do it and have it done and dusted today rather than going with everything hanging on the line in that final game against Royal next week. So both teams have a lot to play, and I think both teams have the ability to produce some exciting rugby. So with all that in play, I think we're in for a wonderful game of rugby today.
29 degrees says the weather report. It feels a lot hotter than that out here at Longdon Place. The wind is probably not going to be a factor today, and humidity at 78%. It feels the real feel is probably a lot more than that as well. So these teams will have to be mindful in their warm-up as well that they're not out of gas before they hit the first whistle, Abdullah. I've seen teams don't really adapt their warm-ups to suit weather conditions. I don't think we kind of copy the same warm-ups that teams do in much colder countries. And I'm wondering whether coaches and strength and conditioning coaches really need to have a chat about that.
Yeah, that's right. It's absolutely vital to ensure that the players just get that layer of sweat, just enough to loosen the muscles rather than going that extra mile and not keeping enough for the game. So it's very important because the humidity factor plays such a big part, especially during the school season. In the club season, generally during the first round, it's a bit cooler during that November, December time. And then you get on to the new year with as it goes into the January, February. But as it reaches March, April, it's really peaks summertime in Sri Lanka. So just keeping all that in mind, the school's coaches just absolutely need to keep that in mind as well.
Interesting you should say that, because we started off the club rugby season pretty well. We had a good couple of performances from most teams, some scintillating rugby at the start, and then as the heat grew, you also saw the quality of the rugby falling away, fatigue becoming much more of a factor as well. So that's perhaps something that the Sri Lanka Rugby Football Union as well as the schools union maybe need to look at in terms of the weather, because it is becoming pretty unbearable, Abdullah. It's hot enough in the commentary box for us. Can just imagine what these players are feeling down on the field. Contrasting season so far between Wesley and St. Peter's. We will talk much more about that and lead you up into this game in the Singer Schools Rugby League on ThePapare.com, sharing the passion with you for 10 years and more.
දැන් යහපෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. බැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රස එකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ. පදම පරක්කු වෙයි.
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් බුබුදා.
හොඳම මැලිබන්ටේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා. මැලිබන්ටේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා.
පදම වරුනේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා.
මැලිබන්ටේ පදමට කහට.
I have news. Let's meet.
To be a man is to sweat for every last inch of it. The harder you push yourself, the louder your body will protest. From sweat to grease, grease to dandruff. Fight back with Clear Men, 2 times the fighting power of ordinary shampoos. Beat grease, beat dandruff. Unbeatable performance for the unbeatable man. Power through the odds. Clear, zero dandruff, nothing to hide.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සැමගේ තේරීම no limit.
Then Gold Dio body spray. හඳුන්වා දෙන අලුත් මාළුත් මාදිලි හතරකින් Blaze, Challenge, Storm සහ Rave. අදම try කරන්න Gold Dio body spray. පැය 24 පුරා.
When she's special, she's not just a girlfriend. She is your sweetheart. When you feel it, you don't just call it sunshine. You call it warmth. When you reveal your deepest emotions, it's not just art. It's freedom. And when its essence is premium cocoa butter, it's not just chocolate. It's Ravello. Chocolate so special, you call it Ravello.
Drift in search of happiness. Fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination.
සතුට බෙදන නම ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම සනසුම දෙන නම එය සිංහ නම මිහිර මවන නම පවස නිවන නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
Are you or someone you care about prone to heart-related illnesses? You can now rest easy with Avid Heart. Avid Heart lets you get a medical-grade EKG anywhere, anytime. Save a life and give yourself or loved ones peace of mind. Approved by the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. Avid Heart. Heart health at your fingertips. Purchase your Avid Heart device today for just 23,990 rupees and get a free My Doctor Couples package. Available at selected Dialogue customer care centers island-wide. Dialogue. The future today.
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ පදම පරක්කුවයි
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් පුබුදා
හොඳම මැලිබන්තේ
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා මැලිබන්තේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා
පදම වරුනේ
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා
මැලිබන්තේ පදමට ගහට දැන් යහ පෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. මැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රස එකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
Stumble upon a surprise. Fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination. ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සැමගේ තේරීම no limit.
Very good afternoon. Welcome back to the Singer Schools Rugby League game between Wesley and St. Peter's live from the CRNFC grounds at Longdon Place. The weather is heating up and so are the teams that are warming up right now. We'll be kicking off in a few moments here on ThePapare.com in this all-important league clash between Wesley and St. Peter's. A lot on the line for both teams. Wesley have still just a one win to their name. They've got a couple of games coming up, of course, and they want to desperately secure their advancement into the second round, the Cup Championship of this schools league so far. And St. Peter's will, as Abdullah Yusuf was saying just a few minutes earlier, want to try and wrap it up and not have to go into the Royal College game needing a win. So it's interesting, this group. Abdullah, will have a look at the group standings just a little bit after we show you the previous week's results. Trinity St. Anthony's 35 points to Trent. Trinity 7 unconverted tries. That'll come back to haunt them later. St. Joseph's 47-5 against Zahira College at Havelock Park, and then we had Isipatana who beat Science fairly convincingly at the Science College grounds in Mount Lavinia, and then of course St. Peter's in their last game out 82 points to nil, so they weren't really tested against Malia. They were royal with a close win against Wesley 24-19 in rainy conditions, and St. Thomas's beating Kingswood in another nail-biter 22 points to 17. So looking at these two teams, Abdullah, Royal with a close win, a physical matchup against Royal, and Malia they were against St. Peter's on the other hand, just one-way traffic for the Pete Wrights. How will that affect the preparation for this week?
Yeah, that's right. I think of the two teams, probably would find St. Peter's being the more fresher of the teams. I think they also recycled most of their players earlier on. So it'll be interesting to see as this game goes on what kind of impact that will have on the final analysis.
And let's look at the two teams and where they stand in this Division 1A points table. So this is the probably the tougher of the two segments, if we can put it that way. And we've got St. Thomas's and St. Peter's with 2 wins on the board at the moment, and we've got Wesley and Kingswood with 1 win on the board at the moment. So both those teams, Wesley and Kingswood, will be desperate to get up into that 4th position. Currently Wesley holding on to it, and a win today will probably guarantee them to go in to the next round. Abdullah, St. Thomas's, it's interesting the permutation. St. Thomas's have Malia Deva coming up. They're probably going to win that game as well, so they'll probably end up with 3 wins, and then you've got a matchup between St. Peter's and Wesley. Talk us through how this could turn out.
That's right. It's a very interesting scenario for all teams. I think St. Thomas's more or less are okay because you'd expect them to beat Malia Deva, and that would give them the required 3 wins to go into the next stage. But for St. Peter's, Wesley and Kingswood, everything hangs on the line. From St. Peter's point of view, they win today, they're more or less okay. But from Wesley's point of view, if they do lose today, I think they'll find it very hard to remain in that top 4 along with Kingswood. Kingswood also have just the 1 remaining game against Malia Deva, which they should win, but again they will have to rely on how other results pan out.
Yes, even if Wesley don't win today and they beat St. Thomas's in the upcoming week, that's still not going to be enough for them because they'll have only 2 wins, and St. Peter's will have their 3 wins if they win today. So a lot on the line for both these teams, and that's why it's imperative for Wesley that they must win this game, but a draw is something that will really throw everything even more into harem-scarum fashion in this points table. So Royal sitting pretty at the top, almost unchallenged there, and we have St. Peter's, St. Thomas's and Wesley all coming up pretty close behind. Is it fair to say that this is a tougher segment of the 2 draws?
I think you'd have to say so, given the fact in the other group we've already been able to decide with a round to spare who will be going through to the cup segment. There are some very competitive teams in this, probably with the exception of Malia Deva. But even in the other group, there were some close matches, although St. Anthony's and Zahira eventually were demoted to the plate segment. They did give some of the teams a very good run. So it's hard to say which is a tougher group, which is not. But overall, I think the level of competition in schools rugby these days, you just cannot take any team for granted.
Our individual stats, of course, courtesy of stats.thepapare.com. Top try scorer so far, Geeshapa Kulathunga, scored another very good try yesterday to add to his tally of 4 tries before the start of this week. Unfortunately for him, though, his team are not doing as well as he would like them to. The top point scorer so far, Santosh Algama, and this boy has been one of the most improved players from season to season, Abdullah. We saw a really good potential from him last year, but this year it seems like he has really risen and into that number 10 position. And he's doing a lot of damage for St. Joseph's.
Yes, that's right. He's got a very good boot on him, isn't it, Chanaka? Last year we saw signs of that during the knockout stages. He was kicking from all over the place. But this year he's become more tactical, more awareness in his game has been built up with the experience he's generated. And also being a senior player in the team, he has taken that mental on well and has played a big part in where St. Joseph's currently stand in that other group.
And seems to be able to handle pressure as well, with lots of defenders running up to him. But we'll talk more about Santosh Algama as we go on, as we see last year's encounter, Paramthiran touching down with the first move of the game almost from Havelock Park, and then Walpitage scoring another try to give Wesley a very early lead in last year's encounter, and that's when St. Peter's hit back through their big lads. Managed to get some territory and possession. Sivaraj going over in the corner, and then here's Nizran, who's also in the number 8's jersey today, who scored an important try, and another good one for St. Peter's reaching out there. and 3 tries unanswered. Wesley were able to come back a little bit later into the game, but just like Royal last year, Wesley started off brilliantly, Abdullah. Here we see that try that Wesley scored towards the end of that first half, and then they fell away a little bit. Just the conditioning for them letting them down, I think.
Yeah, that's right. St. Peter's, last year's knockout champions, had a very good team. It's just that the physicality, isn't it, Shanaka? Wesley just couldn't cope with that onslaught that the Wesley forwards managed to impart. And even in today's game, I think that is going to play a part. While the Wesley forwards are very mobile, their ability to constantly take that physicality to absorb the constant hits. We saw that against Royal as well. It did take a bit of effect on them, and even in last week's against Royal, although they came back in the second half, it was when the rain actually started coming in. The physicality was not that conspicuous as it was at the start, and that's when they just managed to find their feet.
Indeed, as we saw from last year's encounter, Wesley were unable to score a point in that second half, so that's something that will really be a factor in head coach Paul Toya's thinking today, and he's desperately going to want to try and stay away from those big Pete right forwards, Abdullah. But St. Peter's, more than being a cohesive unit, they really have individual players who can do damage up front and also in their back three. Perhaps a little bit of a weakness maybe in the midfield, but once you've battered a team up front and you unleash the kind of runners that they have in their back three, like Tenukanania, Kara, and of course Ravin Fernando, these are the guys that will look to do the damage that finish off the damage that the big boy scores up front.
Yeah, that's right. I think one thing that Wesley will need to keep in mind is they've got to ensure that St. Peter's are not given too much front ball, because when the backs are given front football and they are moving forward, they're going to be very hard to stop, because it's not only the pace, they're also very powerful runners. So Wesley will need to get their defensive systems in place, especially from first phase, just to try and ensure that they constantly keep St. Peter's behind that gain line and ensure that they don't get too much front football.
That signals the end of the junior game. Wesley coming away with that game, so they'll be hoping that that is something that heralds brighter things for the Double Blues in the next encounter. But of course, welcoming all our fans joining us from around the world on ThePapare.com. St. Peter's and Wesley, of course. Russell Arnold will probably miss this game, one of our biggest fans for Pete Wright games, because he will be working at the Sri Lanka game. And also to tell you that we have the Dialogue Rugby League Clifford Cup tournament being played just across the road at the racecourse as well, between Havelocks and Air Force. We'll be back with live coverage of this Wesley versus St. Peter's clash in just a few moments.
நேரடி ஒளிபரப்பு யாழ்ப்பாணத்தில்
මාතර කොටවිල ගම්පියසට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. සිද්ධාස ඇට් මොරටුව පියගම මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩාංගණය
கிழக்கு மாகாணம்
Sugaddas Indoor Stadium
is the Fox Hill Supercross.
Kurunagala City ඇතුගල් පුරවරය
Papare.com අපි අද ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ නෝරෙලිය ප්‍රදේශයේ.
Final Showdown Candy Sports Club පොළොන්නරුව ජාතික සංකීර්ණයේ සිට
හයි අපි කවුරුත් කැමතිනේ අපේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න. ඉතින් මේ බිග් මැච් සීසන් එකේ ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන ඔයාට ThePapare.com වෙබ් අඩවියෙන් මගේ අත්සන තියෙන ලෙදර් බෝලයක් මතක සැමරුමක් විදියට තෑගි දෙන්න යන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔයාට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එකේදී ඔයාගේ යාළුවෝ ගන්න ෆොටෝ එකක් #MarchMadness කියන hashtag එකත් එක්ක ඔයාගේ Facebook එකේ හරි Instagram එකේ හරි පබ්ලිෂ් කරන්න විතරයි.
හායි ඔන්න හැම අවුරුද්දක වගේම මේ පාරත් බිග් මැච් සීසන් එක පටන් ගන්නවා. කවුරුත් ඉතින් බිග් මැච් එක මිස් කරගන්න කැමති නෑනේ. ඒත් මොන හරි හේතුවක් නිසා ඔයාට මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ThePapare.com එකෙන් ඔයාට ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක ලයිව් බලන්න පුළුවන් වගේම ෆොටෝස් රිවිව්ස් වගේ දේවලුත් බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඉතින් බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න වෙන්නේ නැති එක ගැන තවත් කරදර වෙන්නේ නැතුව ලංකාවේ වගේම ලෝකේ ඕනෑම තැනක ඉඳන් ThePapare.com වෙබ්සයිට් එකෙන් මැච් එක ලයිව් බලන්න පුළුවන්.
நேரடி ஒளிபரப்பு யாழ்ப்பாணத்திலிருந்து
මාතර කොටවිල ගම්පියසට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. සිරිතදාස ඇට්මොරටුව පියගම මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩාංගණය
கிழக்கு மாகாணம்
Sugadadas Indoor Stadium
is the Fox Hill Supercross.
කුරුණෑගල සිටි ඇතුගල් පුරවරය
Papare.com අපි අද ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ නෝරෙලිය ප්‍රදේශයට.
Final showdown Candy Sports Club
පොළොන්නරුව ජාතික සංකීර්ණයේ සිට
Hi, අපි කවුරුත් කැමතිනේ අපේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න. ඉතින් මේ බිග් මැච් සීසන් එකේ ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන ඔයාට ThePapare.com වෙබ් අඩවියෙන් මගේ අත්සන තියෙන ලෙදර් බෝලයක් මතක සැමරුමක් විදියට තෑගි දෙන්න යන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔයාට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එකේදී ඔයාගේ යාළුවෝ ගන්න ෆොටෝ එකක් #MarchMadness කියන hashtag එකත් එක්ක ඔයාගේ Facebook එකේ හරි Instagram එකේ හරි පබ්ලිෂ් කරන්න විතරයි.
හායි ඔන්න හැම අවුරුද්දක වගේම මේ පාරත් බිග් මැච් සීසන් එක පටන් ගන්නවා. කවුරුත් ඉතින් බිග් මැච් එක මිස් කරගන්න කැමති නෑනේ. ඒත් මොන හරි හේතුවක් නිසා ඔයාට මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ThePapare.com එකෙන් ඔයාට ඔයාගේ ඉස්කෝලේ බිග් මැච් එක ලයිව් බලන්න පුළුවන් වගේම ෆොටෝස් රිවිව්ස් වගේ දේවලුත් බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඉතින් බිග් මැච් එක බලන්න යන්න වෙන්නේ නැති එක ගැන තවත් කරදර වෙන්නේ නැතුව ලංකාවේ වගේම ලෝකේ ඕනෑම තැනක ඉඳන් ThePapare.com වෙබ්සයිට් එකෙන් මැච් එක ලයිව් බලන්න පුළුවන්.
Welcome back to Longdon Place in the Singer Schools Rugby League encounter between Wesley and St. Peter's. An all-important clash for both teams. St. Peter's looking to get 3 wins and then guarantee their progression into the next round, the cup competition. Wesley looking to get their 2nd win of the season so far and then throw the cat among the pigeons in terms of qualification. St. Thomas's look like they might be a little safe at the moment because they've got a match against Malayadeva which they will most likely win. But Wesley have St. Thomas's coming up and St. Peter's have Royal coming up as well. Both those fixtures will not be easy ones for the respective opposition, which is why this match is so important. Abdullah Yusuf joining me in the Papare.com commentary box this afternoon. Going to be an entertaining game, Abdullah, because both these teams look like they want to run the ball today.
Yes, that's right. Both teams have got some wonderful backs, so you probably have to surmise that the difference is going to be which forward pack will be able to offer quality ball for their 3 quarters to execute their skills. In that aspect, you'd probably feel that maybe St. Peter's have the slight edge, but at the same time, the Wesley backs are more mobile. So if they can shift the ball around and try and create a bit more phases and try and speed the game up more, I think they will be in with a shout.
One thing that really did get tested last week for Wesley was their attacking prowess against a very strong Royal College defence. Now, Royal College have been defending their way to a lot of wins. We saw that against Kingswood as well. They managed to really come up trumps when the chips were down and make sure that they didn't allow those dangerous Kingswood runners in behind them. But these two defences, Abdullah, both Wesleys and Royals, who haven't been the greatest so far. And they've got runners on either side who can do damage to porous defences. And that's going to be something that hopefully both coaches have worked on in the course of this week.
Yeah, that's right. And also the other thing is what we were talking about the Royal defense as well. It's also their line speed. They don't let any of the teams get over the gain line. So that is going to be another crucial thing. Which team will be able to constantly get over the gain line?
This is the team searching for their second win of the season so far. Tanil Samaragun, Asim Tahir, Jesse Vijayawardena, Hafiz Tabit, Ravin Fernando, Samuel Ogbebo moves to the flank today. Tavaraja Srityesh, Dexter Gunatilaka, Sesan Jayawardena. Tarindu Walpitage will be a key man for Wesley today. Tarusha Javira on the left wing, Sahan Hansaja, Eranda Harshana, Kavindana Prabodh, and Murshid Subair will be the man that they're all hoping will come up trumps from the fullback position. Nisal Pereira, Dinija Dineth, Gunasekara Hapugalage, Philip Fernando Mendes Hopwood, Pakirali and Velagedra make up the Wesley College bench. So they'll be looking for that experienced pairing of 10 and 15 to try and do some damage with their intricate passing. And they have been very good this season so far, Tarindu Walpitage and Murshid Zubair. If they can combine a little bit better than they did against that big Royal midfield defense, then we might be in for a couple of treats from first phase.
Yes, that's right. I think that combination definitely managed to penetrate the Royal defense twice last week. And if the ball is distributed to them more often and probably a bit of front foot ball, I think they can prove to be very dangerous.
That's where St. Peter's will be hoping to really put the brakes on this Wesley team by preventing them getting any kind of front football. They're a Wesley team that likes to scrap, they're a St. Peter's team that likes to scrap. They will compete really hard at every single breakdown. And with guys like Senura Pereira and Julian Charles really hitting those rucks hard and coming up flying in their phase defense as well, I think it will be a very, very difficult task for Wesley to get any kind of front football. So that's where the game will be won and lost up front. And now we have the St. Peter's card for you. St. Peter's through Senra Pereira, Julian Charles, the experienced Julian Charles, Chavinda Fernando, Lankesh Pereira, Johan Fernando, Sendika Fernando, Nizra Nila, he will be a difficult customer as well. Bilal Hilmi in the number 8 jersey, Ranasinghe and Silva, Tenuka Nanayakara in at number 11 on the left wing, Chandima Sandaruan, Ravin Fernando will be a dangerous broken field runner, Ishan Fernando and Dilshan Madhusankar. So a few positional changes with Dilshan Madhushankar moving from the fly half position to the fullback position. Amarasinghe, Seshan Pereira, Dias Kulatilaka Pereira, Erdly, Fernando Mendes and Suhail Fernando also making up the bench for St. Peter's. So perhaps with the anticipation that Wesley are going to kick to them, Abdullah, they've moved a good kicker into the fullback position as well, with Dilshan Madhushankar moving there from the fly half berth.
Yeah, that's right. I think Wesley will also need to be a bit more accurate with regard to their kicking game. Last time I thought some of the kicks against Royal was not as accurate as it could have been, but Royal, while having a safe back three, are not probably the most destructive counter-attackers. While from Wesley's, from St. Peter's point of view, I think they will pose much more of a threat.
Looks like the team's observing 2 minutes silence. Our match officials Akil Jamaldeen, Hasanta Veranga and Romario de Silva. Two-minute silence has been observed, and having a ceremony. That's Hiran Kokila Samadhaperuma's mother receiving a token from Murshid Zubair, the Wesley captain. Of course, Kokila Hiran passed away in terribly tragic circumstances earlier this year. Was a former Wesley captain. And both teams have shown their respects to Marco's memory. good to see those traditions being observed as well. Abdullah, rugby is a game, more importantly than anything else, is a game about respect. And I think it's important to honor those who have worn the jersey before you, especially someone who was so cruelly taken away, not only from Wesley College, but from the CRNFC as well, his home ground here.
Yeah, that's right. It's great to see that kind of respect being meted out to players. We saw that even in Super Rugby with all teams virtually showing respect for those victims who had fallen in Christchurch. And it's the same thing over here. We saw CRNFC in their game, I believe it was against CHNFC, also had a small ceremony to show respect to some other Peruma. And it's great to say that Wesley also following in the similar vein.
This is the customary huddles now. Wesley usually say a prayer on one knee. Most teams having different rituals that they undertake before the start of a game. Wesley, of course, a school steeped in the Methodist tradition, named after Charles Wesley, of course, the founder of the Methodist Church. St. Peter's, of course, also will have performed their religious observances, maybe in the dressing room, perhaps. And we look like we're set to go after the formalities. Referee Akil Jamaldeen is one of the fitter referees that we have in Sri Lanka, so perhaps he will let this game go a little bit more, hopefully, that is. And Romario De Silva and Veranga Fernando also assisting him. One of the younger teams of referees that we've seen. And Karindu Walpidage will kick off this game. For Wesley going from right to left, the double blues. And St. Peter's backwards take it safely in the end. Knocked back by Seneca Fernando. Good chase on that restart by the Wesley team, but St. Peter's have recovered well. And this is where that bulk of the Peterite forward pack will make a difference. Big hit that time by Tarindu Samarakun. But referee warning Samuel Ogbabo that the ruck was already formed, that he has no rights to that ball. So an early let-off for St. Peter's. Well, that kept low. It was like the Gaul wicket on the 5th day. Abdullah didn't bounce at all and the batsman got yorked.
Yes, well, I don't think it was the best of kicks as well. I think Peterites will need to be a bit more accurate when they do get a chance to get some position.
Julian Charles with the first throw, and it's not an accurate one. Wesley managing to steal that and going straight through. Was Johan Fernando. And now Wesley have a chance to use it out wide. Nice long ball to the left over the top. And lovely offload as well, and Wesley will score the first try of the game. An easy run in the end for Zahan Hansager. But again the vision, in fact it was Eranda Harshana who scored. But again the vision from Murshid Zubair joining the line at the right moment and spotting the space and having the skills to execute that long pass from left to right, Abdullah. Some players very weak going in that direction, but not so Zubair.
Yes, wonderful vision, as you said, Shanake. He saw that the defense had come up and his right wing was left wide open. And just to accurately swing that pass onto his weaker side as well, just showed the tremendous amount of skill. And then to follow up, the follow-up support play was wonderful as well. So it's just the start that Wesley would have wanted. Zubair should have no problem with this conversion, which is slots over. And this is just the start what Coach Paul Tora would have wanted.
Absolutely, but they will be thinking back to last year as well, Abdullah. They started off in exactly the same fashion and they scored a brilliant try of first phase. Again, Murshid Zubair was involved in setting up Paranthiran to score that try, as we saw in the highlights reel before the game started. And despite scoring that brilliant try early on, they ended up losing that game fairly convincingly. So they will be hoping that that script is a little bit different today for Wesley. But St. Peter's should not be too alarmed by the fact that they've conceded early. Tenukanane Akara restarts and the ball is immediately knocked on by Agbabo, who competed in the air. And this is where St. Peter's will try and change the style of the game. Make sure they take those hits one-on-one. And again, a lovely burst. An excellent pass as well.
No hands, no hands.
In the end.
Side entry. Hold it there, hold it there. Calm down, yeah? Calm down. Okay, that's a side entry. Do that again. Side entry. Play on.
Akil Jamaldin making that very clear. Side entry. Here's Bilal Hilmi. 5 meters short of the line. Lovely step by Ravin Fernando, but couldn't get through. And here it is again through Fernando. They've lost a couple of meters, but they've retained the ball, and now they've gone outside. Dilshan Madhushankar again with a lovely pass out. Interesting to see whether that pass was flat. The referee says it was.
Held up. Good scrum. What's the number?
And held up was the call.
Hold it there. A number?
I didn't see.
Okay. So we go for the penalty instead of the held up. Okay. Okay. There was a high tackle right there. So we are going, instead of going for scrum, we are going for the penalty. Okay.
So
Time back on.
Task judge Veranga, or the assistant rather, Veranga has pointed out that there was a high tackle in the build-up to that play. And they've come back for the penalty. So that's good communication between the referee and his assistant. And St. Peter's will get a chance to hit back immediately. Ravin Fernando makes a terrible mistake early doors. And off his left boot, he puts that into touch in goal. And Veranga immediately points to the 22. And that's really unfortunate for St. Peter's. They needed to make that count.
Yes, it just thought that it may have struck back immediately, but
stay behind you.
Terrible error by Ravin Fernando. Just needed to slot it. He just need to get it to the 5 meter mark, isn't it, Chanaka? Because whatever he gets it beyond that point, he's not going to make difference. So a chance for him to make some amends. Tries the kick ahead. Not much luck. Very well recovered by Wesley.
Well picked up by Jawad, but they need a scrum half now. And Valpitage has slotted nicely into the pocket. That's a big boot from him. And
okay, good.
It's fumbled, but to no consequence by St. Peter's. And now there's a run on, and now numbers as well. Brilliantly done. And that's a fantastic fend. Zubair is lost in the tackle. And Ravin Fernando is on hand to finish this one off.
Hey, calm down, calm down.
So no real damage done. And Ravin Fernando comes back and makes sure that he does not earn the wrath of his teammates. And dots down under the post for another 7-pointer. It was a good kick by Valpitage, but the follow-up was not as good.
Yes, the chase was really poor, isn't it, Chanaka? They just didn't seem to be aware that he was going to kick. It was a very long kick. Enough of time for the defensive line to sort itself out, but I think there was an absolute lack of communication there, because you could see a couple of front rowers out wide, and there were a few mismatches as well. And St. Peter's managed to capitalize on that.
Tenuganane Akara puts the conversion away fairly easily. And St. Peter's have hit back, as we said, immediately, so no consequences from that missed kick to touch. And Ravin Fernando would have been the most relieved man to be able to touch that down. He knew that there was a big let off.
Hold it.
It's not often you get a chance to redeem yourself like that, Abdullah.
I think he'll have a chance to thank a couple of his teammates as well for creating that try. I thought his follow-up chip kick was not the best option as well. But that poor chase from the kick by Valpitage just resulted in St. Peter's managing to counter.
Okay. News from across the road. We have Havelock Sports Club leading Air Force by 21 points to 7 in the 23rd minute of the Dialogue Clifford Cup Championship. That knockout tournament is coming to a close today. And even before the game, Havelocks would have been favourites and certainly would be now with quarter of the game gone. Deep kickoff, and again the restart is not cleanly collected by St. Peter's, but they've managed to somehow keep this in the field of play. And lovely offload there by the big prop forward. Stepping through the middle was Nizran, wearing the number 4 jersey but playing in the back row. Again, the kick is not a great one, and Papare will now try and see whether he can counter-attack. Zubair goes off on a lateral run.
Tackle roll away, no hands, yellow. Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Stay there. Use it.
Jayawardena.
Roll away, no hands, yellow.
Again by the Papare defense.
Thank you.
It was Nizran up really quickly. They go short side now. Little chip kick put in, there's a space there. And the tackle and the chase.
Not self-player, playing advantage. Forward.
Kavindana Pereira was the man who was up quickly on that chip and charge. And Wesley gained some good ground.
Yes, the difference of that kick was the chase, wasn't it? I thought Zubair managed to just identify a bit of space on the right flank, just grabbed it ahead and gave his teammates enough of an idea of where he was going to kick for them to apply enough pressure and managing
Those things which I told you in the briefing, okay?
Commit that mistake by St. Peter's. So great opportunity on the 25. Wesley can strike back immediately.
So first come of the game.
Ready? Crouch. Bind.
Should be interesting. Wesley, the much lighter forward. Will be looking to heal this one out quickly. And again, that's gone against the head.
Hold it there. Out.
And that looked like a clean out hook there for St. Peter's. But referee Jamaldeen saying that the ball was not hooked properly. And Julian Charles deprived of a tight head there.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
That's better from the hooker and scrum half combination. Papare, here's Kavindana coming into the line. Jayawardena dummies, looks for some support, finds it in the form of Ogbebo, who manages to get the pass out. And Wesley will go in at the left corner for a try. But the referee will come back to have a chat with his assistant.
So probably what he'll be inquiring is to see whether there was a forward pass from Ogbebo to his wing three-quarter.
I do agree. Try. Yeah, happy.
Yes, they're happy with the try. Murshid Zubair made sure he got himself in on that conversation. And the try eventually scored by Jayawardena. Tarusha Jayawardena profiting from a nice break by Samuel Ogbebo, who from being a lanky kid last year has really grown into this number 8 jersey.
Yes, that's right, managed to break that first line of defense using his stride to good effect. And Wesley striking back immediately. So Zubair with a slightly difficult kick. We've seen him put some wonderful kicks throughout his school career. And if he can slot this one, it'll be a wonderful effort by him.
We thought at the outset that this was going to be a high-scoring affair, Abdullah. It's only 12 minutes up on the clock and already 19 points scored with 2 more to perhaps come. Just short of the right hand upright. So it stays at 19 points, so more than a point a minute already, and we've seen some really fast-paced rugby. Remains to be seen how much these teams can keep up of it. It's hot weather and defenses are likely to flag pretty soon. Lovely hanging kick.
Backwards play on.
And well collected by Senora Pereira as well, who palmed it backwards for his oncoming teammates. Here's Tenuka Nanayakar. Ravin Fernando stepping off his left foot and stepping again from a standing start. Manages to get the ball in field.
Release! Release,
Great
Blue!
work
No hands now, Blue!
from him to give it to Ishana Fernando.
Play on. Ball bus.
And here's St.
Ball
Peter's
clear.
inside the
Ball must be.
22.
Tackle, release now, Blue!
Wesley defense proving equal to the task at that moment.
Tackle,
But
release.
Senator Pereira with a strong run.
Roll away, Blue! No hands now, Blue! Release! Blue! Tackle, roll away! Stay.
St. Peter's keeping on attacking. Some good continuity from them, looking for those forwards to create the holes.
Tackle! No hands now, Blue!
Nice
Tackle,
pass
play
out
on.
there to Tenuka Nanayakar, but
Play.
unfortunately he
Play.
can't hold it. But the referee says it came off his boot, so he'll continue play. But Wesley have managed to turn this one over.
The survivor!
So that was unfortunate for Wesley. Tenuka Nanayakar dropped that one cold, but onto his boot, luckily for him. And from the
Doctor
ensuing
consultation go on.
melee, conceding the penalty.
Yes, you can see
Is all
whenever
there? Okay,
St.
okay.
Peter's do
Okay.
try and
Can I have
take
the
it up
captain,
with their
please?
forwards, they always seem to be getting over the game line. I think it's something that Wesley
ruck situation.
to keep
Make
in
sure
mind.
you
We'll just
show your daylight and go for the ball. Okay, the next thing is not rolling away. So the first infringement goes as not rolling away, penalty. So I don't want to speak again to you again. Make sure you maintain the discipline. Thank you very much.
Is it on knock-on?
No, it's not. Knock backwards. The man is injured. Is
An
okay?
interesting call there. Referee
Sir,
Akil
go on.
Jamaldeen telling Zubair that was knocked backwards. And St. Peter's will quite sensibly opt for the posts, Abdullah.
Yes, I think it's absolutely the correct decision, Shanaka. We just don't see teams taking the 3-point option very often, even in the just ongoing club season as well. There's so many instances where teams have got the opportunity to take the 3 points. They decided to either go to the corner or ask for a scrum, and for some reason or other they're unable to get any points. There's just nothing like scoreboard pressure. The importance of keeping that scoreboard ticking cannot be overestimated.
Tenuka Nanayakar knocks that over with consummate ease, and it's also good when you have a player who can actually do that, isn't it, Abdullah? I think Royal and Trinity and even Isipathana, Manuel Rubero has been kicking well sporadically, but for Royal and Trinity in particular, they don't seem to have a player that can get you their 3 points even from within the tram lines.
That's right, but even in the club season, Shanaka, I mean, we've got some wonderful place kickers in that club arena, but teams are just so hesitant to take the 3 points.
Another botched restart from St. Peter's. Not able to take that one cleanly. Referee playing a knock-on advantage, but Tarindu Samarakun will take this one forward in midfield, but again, swarming defense by St. Peter's. Tarindu Walpit again.
Release!
Takes this one forward. And Ravin Fernando coming straight through and creating havoc for his opposite number. Well, not his opposite number, but the other man wearing the number 9 shirt, Jayawardena, Seshan Jayawardena for Wesley. And Akil Jamaldeen brings it back for the knock-on from the kickoff.
Both teams, in terms of receiving the kickoff, haven't exactly covered themselves with glory, isn't it, Shanaka? We've seen Wesley being quite poor, couple of occasions knocking the ball on, allowing the other team to get back into the game. Remember, there was a World Rugby report saying that teams sometimes are most vulnerable immediately after they score points. You just got to get that concentration back. And when you score points and when you get back into the opponent's half immediately, it just can demoralize the team so much more.
Referee Jamaldeen also explaining the advantage rule to the querying St. Peter's players. Tactical or territorial, he says, which is exactly right. Teams have to have gained an actual advantage.
Sit. Steady.
Otherwise, referees are obliged to bring it back. And that's a quick change of direction. from Wesley and trying to get the try scorer into a little bit of space, but that time Javira is dragged down. Here it is for Jayawardena once again, a lovely long pass from him. Walpitage and Wesley going from deep. Nicely done by Zubair that time, left the ball on the ground, got himself back up and eventually shepherded into touch. So the Wesley attack looking a little lateral there, and again the line speed from St. Peter is absolutely outstanding.
Yes, they cut out whatever space that was available for Wesley. So Zubair just did not have much option but had to run across. Like to see him running at slightly straight angle, even if he has to take the ball into contact. Just try and create another phase instead of trying to get over with the first phase itself. It's not always easy against good defenses.
Yes, the speed right defense is one of the better ones in the league so far. They've really pulled their socks up since that first game against St. Thomas's. Big wake for them, losing that game.
Stay there.
And here is the big man, Senora Pereira, and lovely offload from the floor. And here's the space for St. Peter's. Zubair over the ball.
Leon.
But beautifully recycled. Robin Fernando now going on his own. Fernando now gives it eventually.
No hands, no blue.
But seems like he might have botched an overlap there. The Peterite captain, Nizran, now trying to fight his way towards the posts. Lovely pass again from Senora Pereira, playing some great ball. And now the numbers are there on the wide outside. They may not need them. As St. Peter's come back in on the angle towards the posts. Jayawardena.
No hands, no blue.
Johan Fernando takes it close.
No hands, blue.
Desperate defense from Wesley. And here's the Peters crashing over. Almost at the line. 3 meters short now.
That's good.
If you can't see the lines in the dust,
roll away.
You're probably not the only ones. Here it is for the scrum half. Ranasinghe makes some good options. Here, quick ball for him again. Tanukanani Akkara.
No hands, no hands,
Good clear out work by St. Peter's that time. Pick and go. And it's a good one. The forwards get there eventually. Julian Charles.
Tackle. Still there.
This is very good front foot ball for the Papare. Great ball presentation from their carriers as well. Ranasinghe now to Senator Fernando. Drag back in the defense. Really good disciplined defense so far from Wesley. Nizran taking a couple of defenders to bring him down.
It's a maul!
It's a maul, says the referee. Wesley will have the advantage, and that is some fantastic defense from the Wesley team.
You have to give it to them, Shanak, never an easy task defending constantly 5 meters to 7 meters outside from your line. But having said that, I think St. Peter's had a couple of chances to just spread the ball out wide, but just the decision making or the communication was just not there. They had overlaps at least about 10 phases ago where they could have just finished it off. And they decided to take it into contact, but you have to give a lot of credit to Wesley for that defensive effort.
So we go for the last move, then we have a break, okay?
Yes, it was very good defense indeed. Robin Fernando, I thought, who had about 3 players outside him, stepped again, perhaps closed the space down on the right-hand touchline for his team.
Crouch.
And referee says this is going to be the last break before the water break. So Wesley will be desperate to try and get to that break without conceding.
Going early, both sides. Wait, are you fit? Okay. Not tired now? Both sides? Okay. Let's go slow. Crouch. Bind. Sit. Steady there. Steady.
Important scrum for St. Peter's.
Okay, that's good. Hold it there. Hold it.
Get some pressure on this and force a penalty.
Ball is available.
It collapses, but the ball is available, so the referee will allow this to play on. And that was well recovered in the end by Hansager, the number 12 for Wesley. It's not a good pass from Jayawardena as a scrum half. And now they will desperately try to clear their lines.
Okay, release.
Wesley still 2 meters out from their own goal line.
Yeah, good, yeah, good, yeah, good.
Enormous pressure on Zubair. He has no option but to kick it straight down the pitch. Well taken that time by Madhusankar. Now the step and he gets into space. Dilshan Madhusankar, and that's a high hit. That's going to be at least a yellow card for sure.
Play on.
Madhusankar has stared down. Here's Ranasinghe. Looks to give it, goes on his own and gives the pass away, and it's a try. Great work, and it looks like it's Johan Fernando who scored.
Number 2, number 1 and captain. Number 1.
Senthika Fernando, in fact. And the referee will probably come back for a yellow card for that high tackle.
Unfortunately, you have to use it on this.
That's good refereeing. Allowed the advantage to be played. Didn't forget what happened before. Came back, and Taridu Samarakun has to take a seat. Don't think there was any malice in that, but Dilshan Madhusankar's step was just too good for the prop forward.
Yes, and it was dangerous as well, isn't it, Shanaka? The player was in full flight, and just a lazy hand going in, which just caught the Pete Wright player's throat on that occasion. But again, that try, Shanaka, just came off a pretty aimless kick. I think Zubair needed to have found touch. We were talking pre-game how dangerous this St. Peter's back three are going to be, the ability to counter-attack, and it was proven on that occasion.
Well, that's 2 kicks resulting in 2 tries now for Wesley, and a dangerous broken field running of this back three from St. Peter's. Tenduka Nanayakkara, Dilshan Madhusankar, Ravin Fernando, all of them really creating problems for all the defenses they come across.
There, water break.
So we'll go into the water break.
Stay there. Yellow, stay there.
At just about 22-minute mark in this game. And it's 15 points to 12, and we've had, 5 tries already scored in the game so far. It looks like we've got a lot more coming up in this next half as well, in the next period of play before half-time. And Wesley really needed to have gone into that break without conceding there, Abdullah, and it's a superb time to actually score as far as St. Peter's are concerned.
Yes, I don't think they could have asked for a better moment to go into this 2-minute break. But from Wesley's point of view, they've just got to be a bit more tighter, isn't it, Chanaka? 2 pretty lazy kicks, and the chasing was not as accurate as it could have been. And St. Peter's have made them pay, because they've got some, as you said, some wonderful broken field runners who have the ability to exploit those gaps in the Wesley kick and chase. And that's an area which Wesley will need to tighten up going into the remainder of this game.
Just about too much time given to the ball receiver. Capturing the essence of schools rugby, of course, you can visit the Papare.com photos and capture any of the snaps that you may want to preserve for posterity. And they're all available at very reasonable rates for you to purchase from our Papare.com hard-working camera crews. You're watching the Singer League 2019 on the Papare.com, your #1 sports platform in Sri Lanka, sharing the passion with you for 10 years and more. And the passion in this Wesley versus St. Peter's encounter is about to rise as the teams come back after the water break, Abdullah. And at 15-12, which coach do you think is more satisfied at the moment?
I think you have to say St. Peter's, isn't it, Shanaka? Because they're just managed to score, and more importantly, Wesley will be down to 14 players for the next 10 minutes. So it's going to be crucial to see how well Wesley manage and negotiate this next 10 minutes. Because if they go in too much of a deficit, then getting back against this Wesley team is not going to, against this Peterite team is not going to be easy.
So St. Peter's have stuck to what they're good at. They've managed to make sure that they really punch a lot of holes and wear down this Wesley forward pack, and that will come back to bite them later on as the game progresses as well, Abdullah, because although they did manage to win that defensive battle this time, it really did take a lot out of that. It really saps you to have to defend on the line, and then in the last 10-15 minutes of games, that's where teams with big possession stats come back and try and exploit all the good work they've done previously. Another kickoff again, they let it bounce, but this time the Wesleyites have run out a bit of gas, and lots of numbers on the outside for Wesley. It's 3 on none at the moment, and now Robin Fernando will step back in the field of play. Again, should probably have drawn and passed.
Forward.
And the ball was knocked forward, so a couple of fairly ordinary decision-making efforts from Fernando while he was in space.
Yellow card, yellow card. So you got to stay only 7. One has to go down. Sorry?
So
one has to go down. Number 8.
Their defense
So it has to be 3, 4.
channels as well, isn't it, Chanaka? They seem to be very content defending close to the fringes and just around the breakdown area. But every time where St. Peter spread the ball wide, they just seem to not have enough numbers to contain the Peterite attack.
Yes, the defensive patterns need a bit of work. They've had to bring in a new front row forward with Samarkon in the bench, in the sin bin rather.
So number 8 has come. Just change so you can come in. Hold it there.
Need to keep in mind that Wesley are down to 14 players as well.
So you
need to try and retain position for this next 10 minutes at least to minimize whatever damage that this Peterite attacking outfit can cause.
Okay, so we are going to send one person outside. One person has
so just having
7, 3, 4.
Bit of a chat about
So
how many players.
So the number 8 has to go down, yeah? Thank you.
And they've had to take one player out in order to accommodate the front row forward.
Bind.
So Samarakun, while he's in the sin bin, he has to have a specialized front row player to deputize for him, which means that Wesley have to sacrifice another player.
Stop there.
Jayawardena. This time it's Walpitage who gets hit, might be a little high, says referee Jamaldeen. And that time Jayawardena opts for the box kick, but knew the penalty was coming. And Zubair may want to eat up a little bit of time. Might point to the post, Abdullah, but thinks it's beyond his range. In fact, he's had a second look at it and opted to go for points. He'll get the ball back with the 22 dropout, unless, of course, they allow St. Peter's to run this back again.
Yes, it'll be a bit of a tough kick, considering that he'll be kicking against the wind.
Yes,
the
yes.
Slight wind is blowing across the RNFC, and he'll be kicking into it.
Yes.
So generally, it will be within his range, but what kind of impact the wind will have on him attaining the distance, we'll just have to wait and see.
It's probably the sensible option to take, especially with one man down.
You have another 40 seconds.
It's probably at the very end of Zubair's range. And just under the bar it goes. Kick had the direction, but just not enough legs.
Probably not one of his better strikes as well. Just didn't seem to have struck it well enough to get the to give it a chance at least of getting the distance.
Didn't strike it as well as Isuru Udana has been. They'll be looking to him today as well, Sri Lanka, but Walpitage with the long crossfield kick. And somehow the winger managed to get in the way. We saw him do that against Royal as well, didn't we, Abdullah? Walpitage's pinpoint cross kick, the kick pass as it were. And that time just fine bouncing the ball into touch. Not sure whether it was really on that time.
He'll need to be a bit careful when he kicks it as well.
St. Peter's overthrowing that, but managing to get the ball back. Bit lucky on that occasion. Here's Senura Pereira. Swiveling and fighting his way to a couple of meters. Another big hit by Bilal Hilmi. Ogbebo again. Penalized at the breakdown. Referee Jamaldeen very quick to blow that one up.
Yes, I don't think Ogbebo was supporting his body weight on that occasion. So it's good to see referees clamping down on that. I just don't think it's been blown often enough.
Captain?
It just has such an impact on the flow of a game.
I'm speaking to only the captain.
Robin Fernando on this occasion makes no mistake. Takes it on to the 40-meter line. Rather on the 25-meter line. So another great attacking opportunity for St. Peter's.
If they can get 2 scores ahead before the half-time break, I think St. Peter's will be very happy. Lots of dummy jumping, but in the end, it's Nizran that wins it in the front.
Number 4 move.
St. Peter's look to set that driving maul, which has got a march on now. Eventually comes down, but manages to pick itself up and keep going. Now they've walked this about 10 meters forward. And they've got the penalty coming for side entry as well. And the penalty try, says referee Akil Jamaldeen, for a coming in at the side.
Okay.
Yes, I think the Wesley, the St. Peter's forward pack just showing their superior power on that occasion. Just don't think Wesley tried as much as they did, just couldn't stop the flow of that driving maul.
There was one,
they managed to get the numbers behind that to a certain extent, but once St. Peter's managed to get some forward momentum, the only way they were going to stop that was by infringing, and looks like Wesley are going to use another player to the sin bin.
So second yellow card, and this one potentially more damaging for Wesley than the first. As Sarin the Walpitagay now goes to the bench, and the referee explained it to Zubair that it was a potential try when Walpitagay went in and took out the man who was carrying the ball behind the two on-rushing forwards.
It's a penalty there.
So Wesley now down to 13. And St. Peter's with the no need to kick this one, of course. The penalty tries are now 7 points automatically. And just as we were saying, it would be lovely for St. Peter's to have a two-score cushion. That's exactly what they get with 5 minutes left in this half.
Beforehand, we're talking about the disparity in weight between the Wesley forward pack and the St. Peter's pack. And that driving maul just exemplified that more than ever. So Wesley will need to be tactically a bit smart on how they go about for the remainder of this game. Whatever position they do have, they've got to maximize it.
Certainly do, Abdullah. This is not where they wanted to find themselves at the end of 20 minutes. It was looking good for them, but suddenly that deficit has been turned around. And Zubair now moving into the fullback, into the fly half position. This ball knocked on that time. So again, Wesley looking for that kick pass.
Time off.
I think they'd be much better off trying to create a few phases, Shanika, than just kicking that crossfield and just hoping for something to happen. It's fine doing it when you're off constantly. You have developed some phases, and then the defense has moved a bit narrow to identify the space. But maybe a second or third phase ball, generally the defense is now much more organized. And with this St. Peter's back three, with the speed they have got, they've got to be very careful when they execute that plan.
Yes, those kicks are pretty risky against this opposition. Jesse Vijayawardena getting a bit of attention from physio Amit. Looks like he might have taken a bit of a blow to the head. It looks like he got smacked around his mouth. Those are never pleasant.
Hold it there, please. I ask you to stay there. Okay. Captains.
Bit of niggle between the two forward packs, Abdullah. Always good to see some intensity, but always hope that it doesn't boil over.
Yeah, Captain.
That's right. No harm done. A few words exchanged. But I think the main thing is for both teams to maintain their focus on play and not let the verbals distract them from the job in hand.
Arguments going.
That's a very difficult skill to manage. You can see Jamal speaking to both keepers, telling them to calm things down. So Wesley will need to try and get some points just before half time. They're down a couple of players as well. So 10-point deficit. Everything to do. St. Peter's from the 20th minute mark have very much been in the ascendancy in this game, and Wesley will do well to just try and break that trend by getting some points on the board soon.
Yes, they desperately need a score before half time, and St. Peter's will be hoping to hold out for another 3.5 minutes or so. With 13 players on the park against them, I think they will be pretty happy. I think, well, it's 14 players actually. Lovely break again. Nice tackle that time by the winger. Was Senoj Silva. And holding on is the call again. Wesley being the architects of their own demise, Abdullah. Piercing nicely, but then having no follow through.
Yes, again we saw Zubair just managing to get over that first line of defense, but probably those two players who are on the sidelines probably hurt him on that occasion, because normally there's always a player whom he can link up with. But then on that occasion, there was no support player, which forced Zubair to go into contact, and his forwards just couldn't arrive on time. So unfortunate from Wesley's point of view, but St. Peter's will be relieved to have got away with that.
A knock on the floor there, and St. Peter's will play the advantage.
Knock forward.
So a couple of knock-ons there, some untidy stuff by Wesley in the end. And just the sheer physicality of this St. Peter's team seemed to be upsetting Wesley up there.
Yeah, bring it here.
Yes, that's right. This just seemed to be struggling to absorb that pressure that the Wesley pack is putting on them. But I think tactically they've got to be smarter as well. They've just got to try and move the ball much more. When they move it to the outside flanks, maybe the three-quarters need to get a bit more involved in the breakout to secure possession.
That's all right. He's all right. So you have to stay
quarters, I don't think they're going
first you have to go that side.
Way.
First you have to go that side. So if you can stay on the hindmost foot. That's it. Okay, ready? Crouch. Bind. Sit.
It's an early push by the Peters team, so
mark here.
Coughing up some quality territory at that time.
You can't judge it. You are at the back. Mark it there.
Bilal Hilmi trying to tell referee Jamaldeen that was Wesley that pulled it back, and referee Jamaldeen very correctly telling him you are the number 8 net. How would you know? That was a good run back again from St. Peter's there. Really made a meal of this. Madhushankar dragged down. And here it is from the short side.
Okay, no hands, blue.
Pravin Fernando screaming for it on the right side touchline, looking for the open side. Nice offload off the floor again. And here they go, St. Peter's barging their way towards the line through these big men.
Ball out, play on. Okay, release, second.
5 meter shot now, the Patriot forwards. Big bust up from the front row. Senora Pereira trying to drag his play over the line.
No hands, so blue. No hands, rock.
Spirited defense from Wesley. But still available now, and there's numbers, but it looked like it might have gone forward.
Forward pass. Okay.
So again, St. Peter's squandering a golden opportunity to score and really put this game into some relative safety for them.
Half time.
And that is half time, so Wesley will breathe a massive sigh of relief, Abdullah, because they were under the cosh for a huge part of that half. And just the physicality and the possession that they've given away with the aimless kicking is something that they will rue.
Yes, that's right, Shanaka. But you will have to just wait and see what kind of impact or what kind of physical impact that defensive efforts that Wesley have thrown in this half during the latter stages of this game, how it's going to have an effect. Because physically you can see that the St. Peter's do have an advantage, at least in terms of the forwards in that area. And also I think tactically Wesley will need to adjust their game. They can't afford to give away position, kick position away so often. And also for the chase to be quite lax, because this the St. Peter's back three have shown very, very good counter-attacking skills.
We'll be back with this second 35 minutes of this all-important Wesley versus St. Peter's clash in just a few minutes after the halftime break. You're on ThePapare.com.
දැන් යහපෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. මැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රස එකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ. පදම පරක්කු ඇයි?
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් බුබුදා.
හොඳම මැලිබන්තේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා. මැලිබන්තේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා.
පදම වරුනේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා.
මැලිබන්තේ පදමට කහට.
I have news. Let's meet.
To be a man is to sweat for every last inch of it. The harder you push yourself, the louder your body will protest. From sweat to grease, grease to dandruff. Fight back with Clear Men, 2 times the fighting power of ordinary shampoos. Beat grease, beat dandruff. Unbeatable performance for the unbeatable man. Power through the odds. Clear, zero dandruff, nothing to hide.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සැමගේ තේරීම no limit.
Then Goldio body spray. හඳුන්වා දෙන අලුත් මාළුත් මාදිලි 4කින්. Blaze, Challenge, Storm සහ Rave. අදම try කරන්න. Goldio body spray. පැය 24 පුරා.
When she's special, she's not just a girlfriend. She is your sweetheart. When you feel it, you don't just call it sunshine. You call it warmth. When you reveal your deepest emotions, it's not just art. It's freedom. And when its essence is premium cocoa butter, it's not just chocolate. It's Ravello. Chocolate so special, you call it Ravello.
Discover fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුල් පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අද විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ පදම පරක්කු ඇයි
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් පුබුදා
හොඳම මැලිබන්ටේ
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුනා මැලිබන්ටේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා
පදම වරුනේ
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුනා
මැලිබන්ටේ පදමට ගහට දැන් යහපෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. මැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රසයකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
I have news. Let's meet.
සුවිසලි ලක්ක වෙනුවෙන් සෑමංගලක් දක්වාම දහඩිය හෙලීම සැබෑ පිරිමියෙකුගේ ගතියක්. ඔබේ උත්සාහය තියුණු වෙන තරමට ඔබේ ශරීරයේ උත්සාහයට අභියෝග කරයි. මුලින් දහඩිය, ඉන්පසු ග්‍රීස්, අන්තිමක ඉස්හොරි. ක්ලියර්මෙන් සමගින් නැගිටින්න කාලයයි මේ. සාමාන්‍ය ෂැම්පූ වලට වඩා දෙගුණයක් ක්‍රියාකාරී ක්ලියර්මෙන් ඔබත් සමග ඉස්හොරි වලට එරෙහිව සටන් වදී. ඔබේ ජයග්‍රහණයට පෙරමං සදන අසමසම ඉලක්ක වෙත යන සැබෑ පිරිමින් වෙනුවෙන්ම සුවිශේෂී ක්ලියර්මෙන් ලොවන්ගේගේ මෙන්ස් ෂැම්පූ. දැන් ගෝල්ඩියෝ බොඩි ස්ප්‍රේ හඳුන්වා දෙන අලුත් මාදිලි හතරකින් බ්ලේස්, චැලෙන්ජ්, ස්ටෝම් සහ රේව්. අදම try කරන්න ගෝල්ඩියෝ බොඩි ස්ප්‍රේ පැය 24 පුරා.
Echo the voices of fun. Fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination.
நேரடி ஒளிபரப்பு யாழ்ப்பாணத்திலிருந்து
මාතර කොටවිල ගම්පියසට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. සිද්ධාස ඇඩ්මොරටුව පියගම මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩාංගණය
கிழக்கு மாகாணம்
Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium
is the Fox Hill Supercross.
කුරුණෑගල සිටි ඇතුගල් පුරවරය
Papare.com අපි අද ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ නෝරෙලිය ප්‍රදේශයේ.
ෆයිනල් ෂෝඩවුන් කැන්ඩි ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ක්ලබ්
පොළොන්නරුව ජාතික සංකීර්ණයේ සිට
Very good afternoon and welcome back to live coverage here of the Papare.com. The Singer Schools Rugby League at Longdon Place between St. Peter's and Wesley. St. Peter's a much happier huddle at halftime after Wesley capitulated in the last 10 or 12 minutes of that first half after starting the game brightly. So it looks like we're on script for a repeat of the 2018 encounter between these two teams. The Double Blues fans watching here at Longdon Place and around the country and around the world will be hoping that they might be able to have a miraculous reversal in fortunes. But Abdullah Yusuf joining me in the commentary box, that looks unlikely the way the first half went.
That's right, Shanaga, especially during the last 15 minutes or so when Wesley lost a couple of players to the sin bin as well, and then the Wesley forward, the Peterite forward started getting to the act more. Wesley did try their best to contain that onslaught, but just eventually it was just too much for them to take.
Do you need a break after?
We spoke about it earlier before the kickoff, and the counter-attacking from St. Peter's has been a sight to behold. Robin Fernando may have botched a couple of overlaps, but his footwork has been fabulous as well. But guys like Dilshan, Madhusanka and Telukan Aneyakkar have been absolutely outstanding in the way they've received the kick and run it back, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's right. And Wesley haven't helped their cause as well by their chasers. Zubair has managed to get a few kicks in, but the chasing hasn't been as organized as it should be. And when you don't have an organized chase against such a potent back three that these Peterites possess, you're always going to put yourself under a lot of pressure.
Yes, it's going to be a very, very important start to the second half for Wesley, who are desperately trying to get their second win of the season. And St. Peter's, of course, trying to ensure their advancement into the next round by winning this one. Then whatever happens against Royal next week is not an issue for them, as they have advanced to the cup quarters. And again, Ogbabo knocking this ball on. He hasn't had the best of games, Samuel Ogbabo. Conceded a couple of penalties and also put down a few restarts. So it's imperative that Wesley don't allow those restarts to get the better of them. They suffered with that same problem against Royal last week, put themselves under unnecessary pressure, and both restarts from both teams have been a little wanting.
Yeah, that's right, and more so from Wesley's point of view as well. Just conceded position from the kickoff, not been able to secure it cleanly. You know, Bobo, they've got to play with the height and generally the skill to collect the ball clearly and to hold on to position, but it just hasn't been the case today.
Crouch.
Ryan has been having a good game in the number 9 shirt, or the number 21 shirt rather, in the number 9 position for St. Peter's. And here's St. Peter's trying to run from first phase. Robin Fernando to get that trademark left foot step. And here's space once again for the Peterites. Dragged down inside the 22 was the little winger, Ishara Fernando. And Wesley start the second half where they left off the first, under enormous pressure. Madhusanka.
No hands move! No hands move!
And here's Ranasinghe again, has options on both sides, but that ball is not a good one. And here's Fernando dancing back into the field of play, keeping the ball alive. Good work from the diminutive winger. In the dust cloud, St. Peter's attacking on the short side, and that's an easy try. The numbers game eventually too much for Wesley to play. And Dilshan Madhusanka, the fly half, playing at fullback today, going over on the short side. A good option taking again from Ranasinghe. The scrum half has been able to find the right runners almost at every given situation. And Dilshan Madhusanka profiting.
That's right, some wonderful footwork. I think it all started with that initial half break by Ravin Fernando. Wonderful footwork, just managing to get outside his center, drawing the wing three-quarter and passing on. And from that point onwards, the Wesley defense was constantly on the back foot. And St. Peter's did very well to recycle possession and use that short side for Madhusanka to go over. So with the kickoff itself in the second half, St. Peter's have extended their lead. And real ominous signs for Wesley from this point onwards.
Certainly, they needed a good start to the second half, Wesley, if they were trying to get themselves back into this game. This is exactly what they didn't need, but St. Peter's now will perhaps have a license to throw the ball around and play that 7-style rugby that they love playing with a nice cushion. 27 points to 12, a 15-point lead, which is no small lead under these circumstances. Wesley will have the wind at their back, but with a 15-point deficit, that may not be enough for them to turn it around.
Yes, and I think at least for the next 7 minutes or so, they'll be down a player as well. So everything stacked against Wesley. They'll need pretty much a superhuman effort to get out of this one, Shanaka.
Ogbebo makes a good tackle that time. And it was well taken by St. Peter's also. Here's Senura Pereira, who has been one of the standouts for me this season as a front row player.
Tackle, release!
St. Peter's looking to exit. And Dilshan Madhusankar dummies and manages to find some space. Here it is for a lovely offload for Tenukanane Akkara. Got 2 men outside him. And that's a wonderful interception in the end from Kavindana Pereira. Desperately had to get a hand in there, because otherwise St. Peter's were over again with a man to spare. First time that Wesley have had some possession in a while, but again the kick is straight down the throat of Ranasinghe, who is dropped back in expectation of exactly that. Madhusankar again with a nice little step.
Low, that's all right, low. No, inside.
So again, Wesley had a bit of possession, chose to kick it away. And here are the numbers now through Madhusankar, the try scorer. Here's Ravin Fernando, changes direction. And Senura Fernando rather, now the numbers, but the pass is not a good one.
Playing advantage.
And the referee is playing advantage for a knock-on for Wesley.
First.
So 2 knock forwards, and the referee will come back for the first one. Again, that was dangerous times for Wesley, as St. Peter's again had numbers and space. Abdullah lucky to get away with 2 passes that haven't gone to hand.
That's right. Again, it just started off from that poor kick by Zubair. I don't think it was the correct choice. Just kicked it right down the sweeper's throat. And we've just been talking repeatedly about the counter-attack prowess of this St. Peter's back line. Wesley just don't seem to have learned from that first half options that they have been taking. And again, they've just got to be much more accurate. They've got to try and keep the ball in hand. Just try and create a few more
yellow ball, okay?
Just try and identify the gaps. If they can just create a few phases and bring Walpitage and Zubair into the game with ball in hand, that's the only way I think they're going to get back into this game.
Ashil Ranasinghe has been pretty good going backwards as well. Abdullah, the scrum half, has got to every ruck. He's made some good choices, given some good width to the Papare attack, and also dropped back nicely to cover those kicks. So he's doing a lot of running. He's a little guy, but gets around the park.
As you can see, some of the Wesley players just breaking down after this physical
crouch
just seems to be taking their toll on this Wesley team.
Sit.
Yes. And that ball is not a good one. The number 8 not controlling that ball, and in the end Hansaja has to try and rescue it. Ravin Fernando was nowhere near on his feet when he got that ball back, but referee allows that to go on. This is Ravin Fernando actually.
Backwards.
Dilshan Madhusankar steps to the tackle, but there was a knock forward just before.
Time off.
Lots of stoppages in this game. Wesley players going down in 6s and 7s. And referee Amit pretty quick to say that he wants assistance. So again, the physicality, Abdullah, that's what's being leading to these injuries. Several Wesley players have had to pick themselves up off the floor in rather worse for wear fashion.
This is definitely taking a toll on them, and I think Wesley, they've just got to be a bit smarter on how they use position once they have it. They just can't afford to kick it away the way they have. Maybe just create a couple of phases and just try and get Zubair and Walpitage into the game a bit more. So far it's just been standing passes, no forward momentum whatsoever. And it's been pretty easy for the Papare defense to stall whatever attack they're trying and launched.
So this looks like it might be a blow to the head, where Physio Amit is taking every necessary precaution as he must.
Yeah, it's yeah. Concuss with change, yeah? You need the...
Looks like it might be a bit of a concussion here for the Wesley player. We'll tell you who it is in a moment. Looks like it's their number 12, Sahan Hansaja. It's always sad to see a player carried off like this, Abdullah, but hopefully it's not as bad as it looks.
Yes, that's right. Hansaja has done quite well in this game. He's one of the bigger players in that Wesley pack, so they'll probably miss his presence as well.
Yeah.
As they carry him off the ground. I'm sorry, he's the center three-quarter. So keep playing that back division as well. But Wesley, I think overall just need to try and control position whenever they do have it. Just try and create a few more phases. Kick position away far too easily.
And I can understand the tactic to kick, Abdullah, get behind this bigger forward pack. But it's just the direction, the accuracy of the kicking that has been a problem, not the tactic itself. And the chase, of course, especially having the pace they do on the wings. Pereira and Jayavira should really have been a better chase. Left-footed kick again, straight into the hands of Madhushankar. Nice pass out to the wing and Ishara Fernando. He's eventually brought down, but the little winger has made some serious inroads on that right flank.
Stay there, get back.
Ranasinghe again. Lovely pass. It's a quick offload, perhaps one more than necessary. Akbebo with a good tackle, dominant tackle. Madhushankar.
Knock forward.
That ball is knocked forward, and again see a little bit of a niggle between the players. Unnecessary there.
Come. Off. Number 6.
Just informed that the winger on the right hand side, who has done the damage or made that run just a little while ago, is the brother of Diat Fernando from St. Peter's skipper. A special athlete he was. So referee going to have a chat to the players who were involved and the captains.
Again, yeah, okay? Yes, sir. Sure? Okay. Calm down, okay? No, listen, hold on. So, since there are lots of people there, if you just try to fight it, yeah, I know. But still, don't do that again, okay?
So you can't hit, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'll speak to the what happened there, okay? Okay, so don't decide on that. So just let's calm down. Make sure we be example to the others.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, all the best. Good.
Referee Jamaldeen just trying to calm the situation down, adrenaline pumping for all the players. And just we'll have a consultation with his assistant referee on the far side. That's Romario de Silva, I believe, or it's Veranga, in fact.
So I think it's more about just getting the spectators behind that board, isn't it, Shanak? You don't want them to be encroaching into the playing area. That can cause all sorts of problems. So I think that's the request from the organizers. Jamaldin will also be having a small word with the match organizers as well.
Yes, we've seen it happen before at this ground as well, especially in this particular area, and it's important that the crowd is contained behind the walls and the playing area is kept only for the players. So you saw a stoppage. It's a little longer than necessary, and this is not good for either team, is it, when you're
the control. So if you start to take control,
you're just saying that this kind of momentum
so at the middle, if you
breakup
start
does not
to take
help
control, they will
both teams, especially St. Peters, because they seem to have
for your safety and
gained a bit of momentum through their play.
You have to take the control by yourself.
And
okay,
see
thank
them
you very
just
much.
taking a few breaths in, just trying to keep themselves tuned into the game as well. It's a time of the game when you have breaks like this in business, isn't it, Shanak? You can just wander off, lose focus of what needs to be done.
Happens so often in cricket as well, doesn't it? We've taken a drinks break and a batsman who's been going well suddenly gets out unexpectedly. It's just that concentration. If at all any team profits from something like this, it will be Wesley, Abdullah, because St. Peters have been having all the momentum. 10 years of sharing the passion with you, and we've loved every minute of it on ThePapare.com. We hope you have too.
This ball.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports platform, expanding from a tiny operation to the #1 sports provider in the country today, bringing these pictures to your living room or wherever else you may be watching it. A win in the line out from Dexter Gunathilaka. A rare one for Wesley.
Okay,
Good tackle from Julian Charles that time. Well played again. But the pass is not a good one. 2 knock-ons there, but referee saying that there was advantage to Wesley. And Zubair puts another kick in straight down the middle of the field, and that might have been dangerous again, so he'll come back for the knock-on.
Yes, you could see the Wesleyites tried a few pick and goes, but they were just not making any headway, was it, Shanaka? Every time they were just being hit behind the gain line, and when you do that and suddenly spread it 2 or 3 quarters who are already on the back foot and the opposite defense is on the front foot, you're not going to make much yardage.
Yes, I think they need to either play from a lot deeper. Talindu Walpitage is a fly half who can play from deep. He's got the talent to do that. But it's just the ability to realize what's happening in front of you and then adjust. Jayawardena goes to the open side, and it's a little chip kick put in by Zubair and taken beautifully by Kavindana Pereira. They really needed to move that ball quickly. And here's Ogbe ball, but the Peterite defense has set, and this is something they've done very well, reorganize after they've been broken. Again, really good defense once again. The ball will beat everyone into touch, will it? No, it won't.
Hold it there.
Coming back and touching down was the try scorer Harshana.
Wednesday. 22. There was a late tackle. Make sure don't do that.
So it's a 22 dropout.
Yeah. Number 3, it's on the 22. The mark is on the 22.
Looks like there may be a penalty there for a late tackle, if I'm not mistaken, Shanaka. The referee just seems to be attending to the right player who is down. I think it's the fullback Madhushankar.
Yes, the referee has said that there was a late charge, and so he's bringing the penalty back to where the ball bounced.
You've got to commend this Papare defense as well. I think they've reorganized themselves off face defense very well. Seems to get the numbers out wide. Even on that occasion, they were on the back foot, but they reorganized themselves very well, spread right across, and did not give the Wesleyites any room to execute any of their three-quarter moves.
Well, if they continue this way, Abdullah, it's setting next week up for a right royal battle, if you'll pardon the pun. Ravin Fernando makes no mistake that time. So there's obviously one place that they're going to go to, which is probably Nizran in the middle, and then try and drive this one over. In fact, they've gone to Senthika Fernando, who's already scored today, and it's a try. Well worked that time. And Senthika Fernando gets a brace. So everyone, including us in the commentary box, thought it was going to be a driving maul, but changed things up quickly. That's good awareness from St. Peter's.
Yes, and the Wesley defense was completely caught napping on that occasion. I think they were expecting a driving maul as well. But Senthika Fernando had other ideas and going over for St. Peter's second try in this half. And Wesley just need to regroup soon, because if not, it could really turn into a big rout this game.
We've got 20 minutes to go, and St. Peter's already on 32 points, Abdullah, so the floodgates could open, especially given what we were talking about earlier, how Wesley have really been battered up front by this big Peterite forward pack. They're just unable to find the numbers out wide to counteract this really pacey back three. Dilshan Madhushankar has been excellent, as has Tenuka Nanayakkara. And of course the wings, Hishan Fernando and Shenoj Silva, have really done some damage on the flanks. Nizran collects cleanly. Here's Senator Fernando once again. He's been, Senator Pereira rather, full of carrying today. Nizran tries to free his arms, but the tackle is a good one.
Okay, release! Release, Blue! Release!
Ranasinghe with a little box kick. And it's a good one as well. Beautifully chased. And Zubair picks up the loose ball.
Play on. No hands,
It is for the new man who's come on to the pitch for Wesley. Nice inside ball from Ogbebo, but again caught behind the advantage line. The line speed from St. Peter's exemplary. Here's Zubair. Takes 3 players and goes straight through the middle. Here's Ogbebo with a little grubber kick. It almost works brilliantly for him, but the bounce is just a little unkind.
Play on.
First arriving player manages to steal the ball for Wesley. It's the big man, Nisal Pereira, who's on the pitch now. And that's a wide ball from Zubair. Pakir Ali's pass.
You can't do like that. Okay. Slapping.
Pakir Ali's pass is not a good one.
Mark here. Free kick.
Yes, he needed to straighten out there as well, wasn't it? He ran right across, making the defensive team's efforts much easier to be pushed into touch.
That's a nice ball from Nizran, but not a safe one.
Come. Yeah, I know. Yeah, hold it there.
Murshid Zubair arguing his player's case, saying that it was a genuine attempt at an interception.
So, captain.
But you can see Shanaka fatigue setting into this Wesley outfit now, isn't it? They've been going into making some
I know that your game
penalizing, just putting lazy hands out, not making decisions correctly. It's all a sign of a team fatiguing. And you can see that the Peterites just seem to be on top of the situation and have this ability to try and just to run away with this game from this situation.
Okay.
The Peterites very quick to point to the post. I'm not sure that's the correct option, unless they want to give Denukananayakara some kicking practice under pressure. It's a deliberate knock-on is the call from the referee. It's a tough one, isn't it, Abdullah? It's a offence that has come into the limelight of late. And sometimes even genuine attempts can be deemed to be a deliberate knockdown. It's a very tough one to call.
Yes, it's one of those calls that is left absolutely at the discretion of the referee, isn't it? He's the man on the spot and will have to make the call. There's St. Peter's lining up for this penalty kick.
And that's a very good kick as well. Denukananayakara showing that he has the distance. He must be wondering where that kicking form was at St. Thomas's when he desperately needed the 2 points to win the game.
Okay.
His side would have been unbeaten so far and setting up a nice clash with the Royal College next week if that kick had gone over, but that's spilt milk now and he'll be happy that his kicking boots are working a little bit better now in the second, third and fourth weeks. Great ball from Madhushanka, and Ravin Fernando was never going to give that ball out. Puts the kick in and the ball will probably bounce into touch. Yes, it does.
No. Touch. Don't throw to. You have to throw to the player.
Murshid Zubair trying to milk the penalty by throwing it to Ravin Fernando, who was standing inside the 5-meter mark, but referee Jamaldeen saying no, you have to throw it to one of your own players.
Please, numbers. Number.
Ravin Fernando has been outstanding for the Peterites today, hasn't he, Chanaka? Just that one missed touch finder, but other than that, in attack, he has been absolutely scintillating. His footwork is of the highest quality, and whenever he has had the ball, you could just feel the Wesley defense tensing up.
Agbebo wins a crucial line out. Zubair comes back across to try and clear. And this time it's Senoj Silva who gets a kind bounce.
Did not survive the clean-up. Let's play on.
Julian Charles. Here's Senthika Fernando, the try scorer, looking for his hat-trick. Ranasinghe low to the ground. Brilliant technique from the young scrum half, who needs to maybe get a little bit more purchase on the ball, a few more revolutions on the ball, but his technique at the base is good. Peters won't mind this.
First driver.
Madhushankar is. And again the ruck was formed, says the referee, as Wesley tried to pull that one back. Diniger, you could see very clearly that he had a second go at that ball, Abdullah. Ravin Fernando will try and put this ball into touch.
Yeah, option. Option.
Well, that's the second time he's botched a kick to the corner.
Sorry.
Fortunately, from St. Peter's point of view, I don't think it will affect the outcome of the game, but something which he'll definitely need to work on going into the tougher matches ahead. Just doesn't need to get it onto that corner post, is there? If he just slots it into touch even about 5 to 10 meters, I think that's just more than enough. You just try to overcook it and just kick it into the dead goal line.
You've been fairly charitable about him, Abdullah. I think St. Peter's may have had 3 more tries, if not for Ravin Fernando, where he opted to run or kick instead of passing. Straightening and passing would have probably resulted in at least 2 more tries for St. Peter's when they had men over.
Okay.
But he's not the type to die wandering, is he?
Hey. Hold it there, please. Hold it there, please.
Substitutions being made now with 15 minutes to go. Both teams opting for substitutions to some of their key men. So important to preserve your big players. Tarindu Walpitage, wary of the threat posed by Johan Fernando, and opts to go deep. Dilshan Madhushankar feels it at the back. And will go for a bit of a run. That's a good run as well. Holds onto the ball in the tackle too. And Fernando's pass is well over the top. And it's knocked backwards, says the referee.
No hands now, Blue. No hands, Blue.
This run. Here it is once again for St. Peter's. Ravin Fernando now dragged down in a good tackle by Dexter Gunadilaka.
Back. Okay, thank you.
Little grubber kick in. It's a nice one as well. Kavindana Pereira goes back and gets dragged into touch. The new man on the park is Mendis for St. Peter's, Yashoda Mendis, in the number 23 jersey.
It's a nice kick ahead, just identifying a bit of space at the back, and more importantly the chase was very good as well, forcing the Wesley wing three-quarter to carry the ball into touch, and as a result the Patriots will get another line out.
Numbers are okay?
As you mentioned, Shanaf, it's just so important for the coaching staff to manage their bench. This game seems to be pretty much in the bag from St. Peter's point of view. Big match against Royal next week. We'll want to try and preserve some of their players for that game as well.
Wesley also a big one coming up against St. Thomas's. And Dilshan Madhushankar. Lovely over the top pass. Really good skills from Dilshan Madhushankar there, but there was a very deliberate knock on there. And I think this may even result in a yellow card. And while we wait for that decision, we can tell you that Havelocks have annexed the Dialogue Clifford Cup with a 37 points to 21 victory over Air Force across the road at the racecourse. It's a shame that we had two
chance of
big
regathering
games
the ball, so we are going for a penalty
at the same time.
It's okay, but he has no chance of regathering the ball. That's why I go for time back on.
So just a penalty. No yellow card there for the deliberate knock-on. So you have degrees of intent, as it were. And Murshid Zubair puts that kick deep, and Ogbebo will dummy and go over to score. He's had a mixed game today, Samuel Ogbebo, given away a few too many penalties. But you can see how dangerous he is in open field. Probably a prospect for a sevens team if you can get some kilos on him. Abdullah does seem to have the raw material.
Yeah, that's right. Correct place at the correct time. I don't think it was the best option in terms of taking the kick, but for the first time probably in the game, Peter Wright's the back three just floundering on that occasion. And the chase was good enough for them to get the try. And Zubair just not managing to slot that conversion over. So Wesley do cut the deficit down, but still a monumental task for them to get back into this game. Just approached the last 10 minutes. And they're about 18 points down. So they need at least 3 scores to get back into this game.
Wesley just shy of half the amount of points that St. Peter's have scored against them. And that kick, could see Coach Paul Tyre calling out and pointing out to that area of the ground. And now with the new wingers on, perhaps they've seen a little bit of vulnerability there in terms of size. Zubair, that pass is not his best one, and Pakir Ali, his pass was even worse.
No, stay yellow. Yeah, good.
Walpitage, under enormous pressure, manages to get the ball down the field, but this is where Peter Wrights have been deadly. Ranasinghe popping up at the back again. Here's a new winger, Yasojana Mendes, and here's Ranasinghe again. Has done well, the scrum half. Good presence of mind to lay the ball back as well, and we'll give it to the big Kavinda Ranuja Amarasinghe to smash this one forward. And that looks like it might be a yellow card for Nizran. Looks like it was a trip or a kick. And this is not a great disciplinary record. It's at least the second yellow card that Nizran has got this season. Which is a shame because he's got a player. He's a player with immense potential.
Yes, you love that look, isn't it, Shanak? He turns back to his teammates and asking, was it me? Did I really do that?
A little bit of a rush of blood to the head. All good front 5 forwards have that look of incredulity. So 14-man St. Peter's will look to close this game out. Better line out that time from Wesley. Zubair, a bit of static passing that time. Eranda Harshana manages to get the ball away, but the winger is swamped. Walpitage hasn't really come into the game today. Tarindu Walpitage. And that's a flip. Referees have been pretty strict on that kind of stuff in this league so far. Lifting a player off their feet has resulted in some sanctions. Not a good pass at all from the replacement scrum half.
Get back. 5 is it?
I think the Peterites just need to keep their wits about them. They've got this game under control, but the discipline just seems to be letting them down a little bit. It just happens when that intensity goes out of the game. So it looks like they're going to be down to 14 players.
Hold it there for me. Hold it there.
Yes, that's right. It's down to 13 players now because they've already, that's the second player in the sin bin. So an opportunity for Wesley just to try and cut this deficit down a bit further. It's about 7 minutes remaining in this game.
Referee Jamaldeen apologizing to the players as he sends them to the bin. Not sure he needs to do that, but he empathizes with them.
Send the markers here.
So 13 players now for
Numbers, please.
Peters. The tables were turned earlier on in the game as Wesley played with 13-2 towards the end of that first half. But a nice 18-point cushion won't worry the Peters team too much. There are the two forwards who are in the bin, Lankesh Pereira and Nisran Nizer. Well to stay in the field of play.
Play on, boys out.
Walpit again looking for Murshid Zubair, but the kick pass again, probably not the right option against 13 men. Can see that, as you were saying, Abdullah, decision making has gone because the fatigue has set in.
That's right, and also I think Zubair sometimes has tend to take that option out because they haven't been able to get onto the front foot as much in this game. They've always constantly been hit behind the gain line, and when there's this lack of options, the boot just seems to be the comforting thought that comes into the playmakers' head as such.
Not straight.
Not straight, says the referee.
All line out. On the scrum. Hold it there for it. Are you? See, are you the captain?
Sorry.
Okay. So captain, so
We saw just once in this game, Shanaka, where that Walpita-Zubair combination worked, where Zubair just managed to get sliced through that Peterite defense, but the supporting players were not there to take the pass on from him. But I just don't think they have tried that enough, especially off first phase ball, because Zubair has got that ability to run that wonderful angle, and for Walpita to pass it into that hole, it's something which they just haven't done enough in this game.
I absolutely agree with you, Abdullah. They've gone to the boot too early in the piece.
Okay. Ready? Crouch. Bind.
So there's a host of men out as Wesley are down 2 in the back 5 forwards. That's a lovely little step back in field. A good tackle in the end from
Good.
the Peterite number 4. Wesley now attacking the line. 2 players down. They will be looking desperately to try and exploit the superior numbers they have.
Stay.
Julian Charles, the nice driving tackle that time on Ogbebo. Walpitage's pass.
No advantage.
He's a panicky one.
High tackle. High. No advantage.
The referee will come back for the high tackle.
Straight in. Mark is here. Let's go. High. Mark is here.
Well, Wesley have 2 players advantage. Taking a short tap. Bobo taking it up front. He's trying to recycle position. Trying the pick and go option, not worked for them so far in this game. Eventually deciding to go into the line. Zubair to Walpitage, and eventually Wesley managed to cross over. So just making use of those 2 extra players in that on the field. Wesley is striking back immediately, but probably a bit too late, but a consolation score for Wesley nonetheless.
It's a bonus point try for Wesley, but may not be enough. For tonight, but might be just enough to try and get themselves up into the second round in the cup competition. Zubair will try to add the extra points quickly, but with 2 minutes to go, A miraculous comeback, maybe a little bit much to hope for the Double Blues fans. Haven't really heard the cries of Zam Zam Zaki from the home crowd gathered here today, but rightly so, because Wesley have not really done much to deserve those cheers. Not sure of the legality of this, Abdullah, because you've got the water carrier actually holding the ball up.
Yes, Annika, you were commenting about the lack of Zam Zam Zagas in today's game, but I think we also have to give a lot of credit to St. Peter's. I think they really turned up today. Definitely their best performance for the season. You can see that they just managed to get their cohesiveness going today. The forwards complemented the backs effort extremely well. And just the linking between those forwards and three quarters was outstanding. And as well as their defense in general, I think you could see that the subs have now come in. So those defensive systems, they seem to be breaking down a bit. But when they had their best 15 on the park, they definitely looked a top quality team today.
Absolutely, Abdullah. They've kind of grown into the team that everyone anticipated they would be before the start of the season. As much as they've played well, we also have to pick a clear man of the match as Ogbebo goes off for a bit of a run. Samuel Ogbebo stepping in, stepping out, and finally doing the sensible thing by keeping the ball in hand. Do Wesley have one last sting in the tail? Walpitage opts to go himself, and it's a good ball out as well.
Backwards.
Backwards, says the referee, and Murshid Zubair floats a pass which doesn't help his receiver.
No hands, no yellow.
Here's Ogbebo again. Has made a nuisance of himself in this last 5 or 6 minutes. And that's a lovely interception. May not have the legs to go all the way, but this man might. Mendes is dragged down in the end. But it's high-risk stuff now from both teams. Ranasinghe to Seshan.
Hands, stay.
Have to speak of a man of the match, Abdullah, and for me, actually, Dilshan Madhushanka in the number 2 at fullback has made a lot of breaks today, created a lot of opportunities for St. Peter's. Anyone else you have in mind?
Yes, I thought at the wing court, I think Nanyakara was outstanding the counter-attack as well.
Okay, move.
Yes, I have to go with Madhushanka. I think he was brilliant today whenever Wesley did the kick. He was there to cover it, managed to gain the grounds. His positioning play was very good as well. So we look as St. Peter writes launch another attack.
Rock.
He's trying to draw that Wesley defense in. Keep in mind they're playing with just 13 players. So just want to wind the clock down as much as possible. Maybe look at one more score before the end of this game.
Entry. Number 2 side entry.
Wesley just penalized, Peter Rice penalized for coming on the side. Zubair deciding go to the boot. Not sure it's the best decision. He's done that numerous times, but Wesley just doing very well to recycle possession.
But they've lost the ball and they've lost the advantage as well for another side entry. So again, a bit too quick to go to the boot.
Okay, release.
Madhushanka, the clear men player of the game today. Still in the thick of things, playing the 80 minutes.
No advantage, they're going for penalty for side entry.
And the referee will come back for that penalty.
Mark is here.
And that's the game. As Abdullah said, easily St. Peter's best performance of the season so far. Some outstanding individual performances as well. Ranasinghe has been fantastic at number 9. And Dilshan Madhushanka and Tenuka Nanyakara also at 10 and 15 were really good. Could have had probably a few more tries if they had exploited the overlaps that they had. And Wesley will have to go home, lick their wounds and come out firing against St. Thomas's team. That certainly will not be an easy beat, but will certainly be on the radar for Wesley.
Yes, and from St. Peter's point of view, I think they'll take a massive amount of confidence from this performance. A very comprehensive win at the end of the day, and it was the quality of the performance, I think, that will please them as well. Thought the forwards were very good. They managed to give enough of front football to their three quarters to use. Probably did not make maximum use of it, but from St. Peter's, I thought again their back three was brilliant. Wesley did kick away a lot of ball today, and whenever they did, the Wesley back three were brilliant in counter-attacking and putting that the Peterites were brilliant in counter-attacking and putting that Wesley defense on the back foot constantly. So overall, I think Peters will take a lot of confidence into their big match against Royal College next week, as we have a summary of today's game.
So they did get the bonus point, Wesley, despite losing, and the bonus point also going to St. Peter's for their 5-try performance. So although it was a comprehensive victory, just one try between both teams and a couple of conversions and penalties taken by Tenukanane Kara as well. So at half-time, it was 12 points to 22, and it didn't get much better for Wesley from there. They scored... They just managed, they didn't score actually, but they did score one try at the end of that half. 35 points to 22 was how it finished. I think it was Dilshan Madhushankar who became the clear man of the match for his outstanding performance at the back, running back a lot of balls and creating opportunities with the counter-attack. Our upcoming fixtures tomorrow for this week's, to bring an end to this week's games, we have St. Thomas's playing Malayadeva. Unless there's a massive upset there, you can expect St. Thomas's to notch up their 3 wins and perhaps give themselves a passage into the second round. And next week's fixtures, Abdullah Kingswood should beat Malayadeva College. Trinity versus Science, Trinity hosting them up in Pallakale, so should be a win for them. Zahira versus St. Anthony's, both teams relegated, so there's nothing really riding on this game. St. Peter's versus Royal, that's going to be the pick of the encounters. St. Joseph's versus Isipatana, that's another cracking game from Longdon Place. And of course, St. Thomas is taking on Wesley. That will be on the Monday at the STC grounds. So going to be a cracking weekend with 2 big games on the Saturday as well. Royal taking on St. Peter's, St. Joseph's taking on Isipatana, and these are segments, the breakdown, Rugby Bit here, and the try of the week coming to you in the upcoming week on ThePapare.com. So lots to look forward to next week.
Yes, so there's 2 games, Royal versus St. Peter's and Isipatana versus St. Joseph's. I think those 2 will definitely be the games to watch. Both those teams in the other groups, St. Joseph's and Isipatana, are unbeaten. St. Peter's, with their performance today, will go all out to end Royal's unbeaten run as well, and hosting that game as well. So who's to argue that there won't be an upset there as well? Going by today's performance, I thought St. Peter's were very good in terms of the execution of their game plan today. The forwards definitely stood up, and I think that the battle up front next week, Shanak, I think that's going to be crucial in who ends up as victors.
Probably one of the few teams that have the physicality to match Royal up front, and that's what we're going to be looking for next week as those 2 big teams or those 2 big matches unfold on ThePapare.com. Thanks a lot for joining us in the Singer Schools League 2019. For Abdullah Yusuf, myself, and the rest of us here at the Papare.com production team, thanks a lot. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in the upcoming week.
දැන් යහපෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. මැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රස එකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ. පදම පරක්කු ඇයි?
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් පුබුදා.
හොඳම මැලිබන්තේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා. මැලිබන්තේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා.
පදම වරුනේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා.
මැලිබන්තේ පදමට ගහට.
සුවිසලි ලක්ක වෙනුවෙන් සෑමංගලක් දක්වාම දහඩිය හෙලීම සැබෑ පිරිමියෙකුගේ ගතියක්. ඔබේ උත්සාහය තියුණු වෙන තරමට ඔබේ ශරීරයේ උත්සාහයට අභියෝග කරයි. මුලින් දහඩිය, ඉන්පසු ග්‍රීස්, අන්තිමට ඉස්හොරි ක්ලියර්මෙන් සමගින් නැගිටින්න කාලයයි මේ. සාමාන්‍ය ෂැම්පූ වලට වඩා දෙගුණයක් ක්‍රියාකාරී ක්ලියර්මෙන් ඔබත් සමග ඉස්හොරි වලට එරෙහිව සටන් වදී. ඔබේ ජයග්‍රහණයට පෙරමං සදන අසමසම ඉලක්ක වෙත යන සැබෑ පිරිමින් වෙනුවෙන්ම සුවිශේෂී ක්ලියර්මෙන් ලොබංකේගේ මෙන්ස් ෂැම්පූ.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සැමගේ තේරීම no limit.
When she's special, she's not just a girlfriend. She is your sweetheart. When you feel it, you don't just call it sunshine, you call it warmth. When you reveal your deepest emotions, it's not just art, it's freedom. And when its essence is premium cocoa butter, it's not just chocolate, it's Ravello. Chocolate so special, you call it Ravello.
Drift in search of happiness. Fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
Okay, she's ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Impressive CV, but why do you want to work here?
Is your unlimited package limiting you? Be really unlimited with the largest network. Talk unlimited with more than 13 million Sri Lankans with Dialog. Dialog Blaster Unlimited. A range of daily, weekly and monthly plans. Dial #678# to convert your package or get a new connection.
It's always been my dream to be a part of a blue chip company.
කිසි ගැම්මක් නෑ. පදම පරක්කු ඇයි?
සුමීරි පානේ පදමට ගහලා දවස පුරා ගතට දැනෙන මිහිරක් බුබුදා.
හොඳම මැලිබන්තේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා. මැලිබන්තේ එක්ක අපේ දවස රස වුණා.
පදම වරුනේ.
කහට පදම නියමෙට රස සමග මුසුණා.
මැලිබන්තේ පදමට කහට. දැන් යහ පෝෂා දන්නේ ඉරිඟු සහල් මුං සෝයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි කිරිත් එකතු කරලා. ඒ නිසා මා චේන්ජ් වුණා.
ලංකාවේ ළමයින්ගේ අලුත්ම සොයා ගැනීම. මේක රස එක. මැලිබන් යහපෝෂ රසයකට චේන්ජ් වෙන්න.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සැමගේ තේරීම no limit.
Stumble upon a surprise. Fashion inspired by emotion. Glitz, the fashion destination.